When it comes to persuasion, what do you think is the most powerful tool? Is it data? Is it charisma? Nope. It's a really well told story. And in this explainer, we're going to dig into the science behind it, especially for business.
So let's get right to it. What's the real secret to getting someone on your side? To really persuading them? Is it just throwing a ton of data at them? Having a super charismatic personality? Or maybe a really slick presentation?
Well, the answer might actually surprise you. It turns out real persuasion, it's not some kind of mystical art. It's actually a science, and it's backed by some pretty solid principles from psychology and even neuroscience.
So where are we getting this stuff from? We're diving into the work of the incredible author Will Storr. Now, he makes this amazing argument that behind basically every successful business, there's a great storyteller. So today, that's what we're going to do. We're going to unpack his 4 big secrets, all backed by science, for crafting stories that do way more than just inform. They actually persuade.
All right, first step, secret number 1. This is the bedrock of every great story. You have to create identification. Think about it. For any message to really truly land, your audience has to see themselves in the story you're telling. They need to find a piece of their own life in it. And the psychology here is it's fascinating. We're not just talking about sympathy, feeling sorry for someone. No, identification is this deep, subconscious thing that happens. Get this, when a story is really working, the listener's brain activity literally starts to mirror the storyteller's. It's a process called neural coupling. So they're not just hearing about a journey, their brain is acting like it's living it. And look, this isn't just some nice theory. They actually tested this. A massive BBC StoryWorks study, we're talking over 2,000 people, proved it. They found that stories loaded with emotional moments, they don't just entertain you, they actually fire up your long-term memory. It's like the feeling itself is what makes the memory stick. Feelings literally forge memories. So what's the big business takeaway here? It's super clear. You've got to frame your stories around situations your customers are actually living through. Mirror their challenges, their hopes, their dreams. Because when you get that right, you stop just selling a product. You start building a real, genuine connection. And that is what creates loyalty. Okay, but here's the catch. You can't build that connection if your message is a confusing mess. And that brings us right to secret number 2. Keep it simple. I mean it. Our brains are hardwired to love clarity. The second things get too complex, what do? We tune out. It's automatic.
There's a scientific reason for this, of course. Psychologists call it cognitive load. Just think of it like the RAM on your computer, but for your brain. The more complex or abstract a story is, the more of that processing power it uses up. And if it starts demanding too much, our brain just says nope and checks out. It's kind of like a built-in self-preservation switch. Just look at this comparison. It's incredibly powerful. On one side, you've got something like a high-fashion ad. It's abstract, maybe it's beautiful, but what's the message? It's vague. But on the other side, you have this single, heartbreaking story of one person, Alan Kurdi. This is a perfect example of something called the identifiable victim effect. It shows that we are far more moved by the story of one single real person than by huge, abstract statistics. It's just how we're wired. A clear, personal story will beat a million vague data points every single time. So, the lesson for any business, it couldn't be more direct. You have to ditch the corporate jargon. Stop using these big, abstract words. Just speak in clear, simple language. Language that connects directly with what your audience already knows and feels in their gut. Okay, secret number 3. This is where you frame your whole business narrative as a kind of epic journey. We're calling it the customer's quest. I mean, for thousands of years, what have humans done? We've used stories to learn how to overcome challenges. Your brand story needs to tap into that exact same ancient power. Now, the structure is a lot like the classic hero's journey you see in movies, but there's one massive difference. Your business is not the hero. Your customer is the hero. So step 1, you have to clearly lay out the problem, the dragon they need to slay. Step 2, you show how your product or service is the magic sword that helps them do it. And finally, step 3, you show the transformation, the successful outcome, the happily ever after. So when you boil it all down, what's the whole lesson of your story? It's simple. It's showing exactly how your vision, your product, solves their problem. That's it. It's all about making that super clear, satisfying connection between the challenge and the win.
And that leads us perfectly into our fourth and final secret. This is the one that really makes all the other pieces stick and gives them power. And it is make it concrete. Why? Because vague ideas just evaporate from our minds. But specific, tangible details, those are the things that stick. I mean, just think about one of the most famous examples in history. When JFK wanted to get America excited about space, he didn't give a speech about advancing aeronautical science or some abstract goal like that. No, he gave NASA a mission so concrete you could literally see it in your mind's eye, landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to Earth. Boom! In that one sentence, every single person working on that project knew exactly what they were trying to do. Or how about this one, Bill Gates? His vision wasn't some corporate speak about achieving global productivity synergy. Can you imagine? No, his goal was just as tangible, just as vivid. A computer on every desk in every home. That single clear picture was enough to motivate an entire company for decades. It's powerful stuff. So the message here is crystal clear. When you're talking about your vision, your goals, please avoid the empty buzzwords like sustainability or growth. They don't mean anything to anyone. Instead, paint a picture. Define your vision with language so clear and vivid that anybody, your team, your customers, can immediately see it, feel it, and understand exactly what you're trying to build. All right, let's bring it all home. These 4 secrets we've talked about, they aren't just little tricks for telling a nice story. They're much deeper than that. They're about making a kind of deal with your audience, a deal where you earn their attention, their trust, and in the end, you earn their action. So here they are one more time, your 4 rules for truly persuasive storytelling. 1, create identification so your audience actually feels it. 2, keep it simple so they can easily understand it. 3, clarify the quest so they know what's at stake. And 4, be concrete so they will never ever forget it. At the end of the day, you have to remember this. A great story isn't just a list of facts. It's a full-on experience. It's not something that just gets processed by the logical part of our brain. It's something that's felt deep down. And when you can make people feel your story, that's when you can move them to act. So that really just leaves one final big question. Now that you've got these 4 secrets in your toolkit, what's the first story you're going to tell?